Hello, Stampers. Kelly Acheson at AStampAbove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today, I am going to be sharing the Totally Techniques blog hop technique of the month, which is one-layer cards. What? Who makes one-layer cards? Well, we're going to make one-layer cards today. This is a challenge, especially for somebody who's been stamping for probably, I don't know, 30 years. Ooh, I just dated myself, didn't I? But I'm excited to share this with you. This is a great technique to make quick and easy cards without a lot of fuss, number one. Number two, it is a fantastic way for new stampers who might not have a lot of supplies to make some fantastic cards. Also, a great way to make up sets of cards to give as gifts because my cards kind of have the same theme. I'm excited to be using this brand new Prairie Grass stamp set. This is like a silhouette set with some sentiments in it. I am always drawn to silhouette sets, so I'm excited to be able to share with you what I'm going to make today. Let's turn this camera around and we'll get started. Thinking about this one-layer cards, I thought, what am I going to do to make a one-layer card? That means no punches, no dies. And I was like almost paralyzed, right? Because how do we make cards without that? But before we had a whole bunch of fancy gadgets, that's exactly what we did. So I knew I wanted to use this new Prairie Grass stamp set. Now, this is part of the new online exclusive offering that comes out on July 1st. So next Tuesday, if you're watching this on the day that I did this video, which is June 27th, on Tuesday, the stamp set is available. So I got to thinking, what exactly was I going to do with this? Oh, I'm missing a die. I'm like, where's my other die? So I thought the arches, the everyday arches dies would be perfect for me to be able to create some pretty backgrounds to frame and make the prairie grass images the focal of my card. So here's what I did. Oh, and before I go any further, as I was getting my this blog hop all coded, we have to do a lot of coding for these in the the background techie stuff. I noticed that Diane, who is also part of the Totally Techniques design team, had not only this kind of the same idea with the arches, the everyday arches dies, but she used the exact same stamp set. So you're going to get some really nice ideas with this brand new stamp set coming out on July 1st. So I knew I wanted to use these. What I did is I brought in a piece of typing weight paper, and I think I used the second to the largest, the second to the largest die from the Everyday Arches dies. And I die cut that in the center of a half sheet of printer weight paper. So then, of course, I've not only got this piece to work with, but I've also got this piece. So I just started playing around. I'm going to take a basic white 4¼ by 11-inch piece of cardstock, and I've already scored it here at 5½. I'm going to get that folded and burnish that edge. Then what I needed to do was I needed to figure out what color I wanted to use. And I knew I wanted it to be something soft and pretty. So I think the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to use this. We're also going to use this. So this is just the neatest technique. And we're going to do some blending. So this printer weight paper is pretty see-through. And I can see that I've got my die cut arch window centered on the front of my card. So I'm going to bring in some Lost Lagoon ink here. I'm also going to bring in one of my piercing mats. This is what I usually stamp on, but I just kind of need a scrap of paper. Oh, look at, there's a little embellishment right there. Ah, set that up there. I can use that. We don't want to throw that away. So this is just a scrap of paper. So I'm going to grab one of my blending brushes here. Whoops, hang on. We got things flying around. One of my blending brushes here. I'm just going to kind of get some of that ink off of there. I don't want this to be real blotchy. So now I'm going to come in and very gently, I'm not pushing hard. I'm just going to start applying some ink with my blending brush. Now, this is, I don't know if this is going to work. It's not. Hang on. So instead of using this as my scrap, I'm going to use this as my scrap because I think that's going to work better for me. I'm going to just keep blending my color. Make sure you hold on to everything. I'll start blending my color here and add this Lost Lagoon all over this layer. I have to get my finger out of the way there so I can get that corner good. And if you have really large sheets of Post-it notes, or you could use some temporary tape to kind of tape this to your desktop, that might work good. But I thought I did okay when I was testing this all out. I did okay by just kind of holding on to it. And this is the same exact sheet that I used to make some samples. So I'm like, will this work? Yes, this will work. This was really fun. This is a really fun technique to play around with. And again, we want to keep that in place there. I think it's a really neat way to make some quick and easy gift cards to give as gift, not like gift card holders, but cards to give as gifts. So that was really fun coming up with this. And then again, for beginner stampers, you don't have a lot of supplies yet. Making a mask like this and using this as the focal point, kind of, it's a subtle focal point on your card, is an easy way to be able to create while you, collect all the supplies that give you a broader base to choose from for your card making. Now, I could keep doing this and smooth this out because I've got kind of some variations of color in here, but I think I like this, that it's not all the same. So let's reveal. Oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? So now what we're going to do, I'll pull this in here on my piercing net because I like to stamp on here, is we're going to grab, I've got Memento ink in a foam ink pad. This was a blank ink pad. We have blank ink pads when you order the white craft pad. It comes with a bottle of ink refill and an ink pad that has nothing in it. So I simply took my Memento ink and I inked this pad up. I like using this particular fabric, or not fabric pad, foam pad for my stamping. I just find that it really works nice. I get a better image out of it. So I'm going to be using the big stamp from the Prairie Grass, this one right here, which doesn't look that big here, but it's pretty substantial. And then I think I'll be using the sentiment that says, sending the healing power of love. And this whole set has just some really nice sentiments in it. We've got my shoulder is yours, sending the healing power of love. You're not alone. I'm here for you. So very sorry. And sometimes life is just hard. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to do my sentiment first so I know where to place my silhouette. I guess I'm calling it a silhouette. I think it looks like a silhouette. My silhouette of my image here. I love the font in here. If you guys follow me, you know that I'm really big on fonts. I love nice fonts. So because this stamp is so big, I'm going to leave the stamp sit here and I'm going to bring my pad to it so I can see what's going on. And now I'm going to come over in here. And I don't want to cover up my words, so I'm going to be real careful about that. And we're going to stamp this right on the front of our card because this is a one-layer card. And oh my gosh, is that not so beautiful? I just think that's so, so pretty. And the other thing that I did, I want to kind of tone this down a little bit. It's very stark. I'm going to flick some black Stampin' Write marker on here, just kind of to give it a little bit of interest. Okay, next up. Oh, I forgot my twine. Hang on. And I've got a long piece here that I had wrapped up that I did not use on another project. But I'm using the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, which has 5 different colors of Baker's Twine in it. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to tie a bow. So I'm just going to do a double bow here. I'm using a little bow jig. This is a super neat little gadget. I wrapped it around twice, and now I'm going to tie my bow. It's just nails in holes in wood, and you can make this. Anybody can make this. I know that in my craft room, I have a little girl drill, which I really like. But any old piece of wood with some holes drilled in it, and you've got yourself a little bow maker. Okay, mini glue dots. And I like to use my Take Your Pick tool. It's nice to roll these up when I have a smaller type of bow to put on. And I'm just going to set that bow right over here in the corner. Make sure that I cover up that that mini glue dot so that it doesn't stick inside my envelope, right? So there is our first card using one layer. There's no layers on here. I've just really used the stamps and the ink. On the inside, I think what I'm going to do is I really like, our sentiment on the front says, sending the healing power of love. So I'm going to take this other sentiment that says, sometimes life is just hard. And if you have a friend or family member that may be going through a rough time right now, this is just a nice way to let them know that you're thinking about them and you're with them, sending your thoughts and prayers. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ink up this side of my stamp here. I hope you could see that in my camera. Just going to stamp a little bit of this right on the inside of my card, just to give that a little interest on the inside. And last but not least, I thought that our brushed brass butterflies would be perfect to throw a little pop in here of gold. I always think that little gold elements are very classy. They stand out without overtaking my card. So we'll put a few of these on here, and how about maybe one more right up here? Wow, right? Look at that. One layer, that's it. Okay, so that was the first card that I made. Okay, next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take that piece that we die cut out of the middle of our window. So here was our window. This is the piece that we die cut right out of the middle. We're going to take that on another card. This is the same size card. And we're going to do, I'm going to turn this way. We're going to do the same thing, only now we're going to leave an opening on the front of our card. And oh, excuse me. I'm like, oh, I need to sneeze. Goodness. We're going to use the same color. We're going to use the Lost Lagoon. And just move this down a little bit. There we go. This is going to work better for me like this. And I'm just going to add some color around this arch. And again, be careful not to move it. Make sure you've got it centered on there. Yeah, this is how I did my samples. I'm like, why am I kind of struggling with that? But make sure you have your scrap right here underneath what you're working with, and that'll work a lot better. And again, you just keep blending until you have the depth of color that you want. There we go. Reveal. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. And now we're going to do the same thing with this card and our big stamp. And I think I'm going to do the same thing in stamp my words first here so that I make sure that I have room for them. That looks great. Do this on here. Make sure I get that image on there real good. Oh my gosh, that looks so pretty. Now, excuse me, we're going to do the same thing with the marker. Again, I want to kind of tone down the starkness of this card. There we go. Just a little flick like that. I'm going to let this dry just a touch. And I'm going to put this ink away. The marker is what I'm waiting to dry. The ink dries really fast. But the marker, I have touched these and smeared it before, so I don't want to do that. Sorry, I hope this doesn't make any crazy. We don't need any crazy. We can do the inside while we're working there. How about, I'm going to do the same thing in here. Do the same thing with our big stamp. I'm looking for it here. And I'm just going to ink up a little bit. We'll take that and stamp that right in here. I'm kind of tilting it a little bit too, because I don't want this big part to be way up there. I just want a little bit right here on the side. And then I'll do the same thing. Sometimes life is just hard. There we go. Okay, that looks great. Now I want to put some of this baker's twine on this card. Oh, I think, yeah, I think I'll do the same thing with that one. I'll just do a double bow here. And get that tied off. The thing I like about these bow jigs, it's called a bow jig, is that your bows are perfect every time. You don't have to fuss around with them. They just turn out perfect. So make yourself one of these. I used to have these available, but I am out of them, and I have not heard that they're going to be back in stock. Somebody makes them, and then I get them from somebody who gets them from the person who makes them. So it's been a little delay there. I might have them back in stock at some point, but there we go. And then let's grab, again, some of these brushed butterflies to put on here. Then I'll pull that other one up so you can see them side by side with the window and then the outside. Let's see. We'll do, how about one right here? Whoops. One right there. One over here. And another one right up there. Oh my gosh, I just love the gold butterflies. Either brass, brushed brass butterflies. So isn't that pretty? So now we've got that one, and we have this one, both used with the same die cut piece of printer weight paper, right? So then I came up with one more idea here. Oh, let me bring this in. Here, let's move this out of the way. I did this in Daffodil Delight first. So here's that same card in Lost Lagoon. And then I also, I didn't do another one this way with the yellow, but now you can see yellow, Lost Lagoon, the windows, and then the negative piece, the inside piece. So very cool. Then I did another one with a little bit smaller of the Everyday Arches dies. Let me move this out of the way here. This was the first one was the second from the largest. And then I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th from the smallest. And I did the same thing on printer weight paper. I die cut that. And I've got another card here. I'm going to have to grab another piece of cardstock because I have things to show you. We're going to do this one. And what I did here is I used the negative. So let's bring this back in. I'm going to see if I have another piece of paper because this one's getting pretty messy. It's distracting. It's got to be distracting to you. It's distracting to me. So now I'm going to come in here and, oh, this one needs to be tall. Hang on. I want a tall piece with that. So I'm just going to grab another piece of cardstock. We're going to score this at 5.5. And then we're going to cut it at 4.25. This will be for our other card. What? There's more? There's more. Yeah, this was really fun. And my mind is actually reeling with all kinds of different ideas for this one layer card technique. Okay, we're going to take this. Again, I'm just going to put this right on here. Bring this in. And I think this time I'm going to stay with the Lost Lagoon. I like that color. So we'll use that. I'm going to use my printer weight paper here to center this on. Well, I don't think I want to center this one. Let's do something over here. I'm going to put it kind of down and to the left. So it's not centered. Doesn't have to be centered. Okay. Hold on to this. I just don't want globs of color coming off here, off my blending brush. Now, as far as blending brushes go, if they're new to you, these are wonderful. These large ones come in a pack of 3, and they're just called the regular blending brushes. Then we have mini ones too. But some people just leave the ink in them, and they'll just use all their blues with this one and all their yellows with the one that they've used in yellow. I wash mine out. I wash mine out and let them dry. And while all the color doesn't look like it comes out, your brush will be clean. And I would definitely kind of keep this for blues or purples. You know, I wouldn't try to use this one with yellow, even, after I washed it out. But that's what I do. And some people have blending brushes for all their colors. And bless your heart. I do not. Okay, so I'm good with that. I like what that looks like. I think this time we're going to use these, these aren't cattails, but they're some type of a weed. This makes me think of swamp grass. And swamp is kind of like always a word that's like, ooh, swamp. But no, swamps have a lot of really interesting plants in them. So I'm going to stamp that over to the side here. And then how about we'll use You're Not Alone, I'm Here For You. I'm going to put that right over here. Oh, that turned out great. And then, where did that twine go? Did it stick to me and fall on the floor? Oh, I got it. I found it. Don't worry. Let's not forget to do this part. And of course, if you don't like that, you don't have to, but I think it's a neat look. And again, it just kind of tones things down a bit. I'm going to stamp this inside so that I don't smear that marker on the front. So let's do that. And I'm going to take this and do like I did. Whoops, I almost put that in Lost Lagoon. That would not be cool. With my black, I'm just going to come in here and kind of stamp that right there. And then again, I'll use my sentiment. We've got on the front, You're Not Alone, I'm Here For You. And then the sometimes life is just hard. I kind of like that right down here. Gives me a lot of room to write up above. So there we go with that. And then this time I'm going to take my twine just to jazz this up a little bit. And we're going to wrap it around the bottom here 3 times. Just like this. And then I'm going to tie it in a bow. Maybe. See how easy that bow maker is? The bow jig makes it just so much easier. Okay. Because this is twine, I'm going to tie it in a knot, and then I can work with my bow a little bit easier. I don't have to worry about this holding on to it to make it tight. Oops, I better tighten that up just a little bit. Good grief, I'm really having a hard time here. Man. There we go. Okay, we'll straighten this out a little bit. I think I want to pull it over just a touch. Well, not that much. Got to be careful so you don't like destroy your card when you're doing that. Now we'll tie it in a bow. Okay. There we go. Trim this off. And we've got another really nice card here. Let's get, oh, I'm almost out of brass butterflies. Don't worry, I think I have more. So with this, and put this like maybe right here. I like to do threes or even or odd numbers of embellishments. Usually threes. Threes always seem to work really good. How about if we put one right up there? Just like that. Oh my gosh. Isn't that pretty? So easy, right? Okay, I have one more idea for you. We're going to bring in a 5.5 by 8.5 inch card here. And I took my Everyday Arches dies, which here they are. I put them under my trimmer. And I used the third from the smallest for this one. So I used the third from the smallest die. And I cut that out of a piece of printer weight paper. Now I'm going to bring in some different colors here. So I think it was a little tricky for me to do this the first time. So I'm going to grab a ruler and perhaps, here's my pencil. I'm going to grab a ruler and a pencil. So I want my first little arch to be right in the middle. So I can clearly see that I want the bottom of my arch to be right about here. And there was probably an easier way to do that, but I'm going with this. I'm going to do this right here. I'm just going to make a slight pencil mark. It's not heavy, just very light. And then I decided to use Petal Pink, Pool Party, and Fresh Freesia. So I think I'll start with Pool Party in the middle. And I've got another blending brush here. And so again, I'm going to place this up here and make sure that it kind of looks like it's centered. You could measure these if you're really unsure and you would feel more comfortable doing that. But here we go. So Pool Party is a lot lighter than Lost Lagoon. And right now I'm just kind of loading my brush up, looking for that little pencil line there. I just thought that would be more helpful. I had kind of a hard time. I was worried about not getting these straight on here because they're three of the very same things. And I thought, oh, that'll look weird, right? It won't look good if they're not straight. So pencil is probably a good idea. We'll see, won't we? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Here's our Pool Party. And that looks good. I want this to be very nice and subtle. And then I'm going to go with my Petal Pink. And I'm just going to grab another blending brush for that. And now I can see where I left off there. There's our pencil mark. Here's the end. It's getting a little trickier to see that color. There we go. Pick it up, put it in the light. I want to make sure that there's a little space between these. And my pencil mark is there. I think we're doing pretty good. So now I'm going to come in. I would have thought this would have been a much lighter color than the Pool Party, but it seems to be inking up really well. I thought it was going to do a lot more here with this one. You could do this with any kind of shapes too. You could have flower dies cut out of your paper and do this with them. That would be really soft and pretty. Look how cute that is. Okay, and last, Fresh Freesia. Let's do that one. And again, I'm just going to kind of pick this up and hold it up to the light so I can see the edge of my Pool Party and make sure that I'm straight over here with the edge of my card. And here's a pinky purpley one that I've used before. I didn't get that loaded up very good, and I just kind of wiped it all off. You got to kind of load your blending brush so that there's some ink left in it after you get a little bit of that color off. And as you use these different colors, you'll find which ones you need to have a lighter touch with so they don't get too dark on you right away, and which ones you can just kind of go to town with. Okay, I think that looks good. Wow, look at that. Very cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that other image that's in our Prairie Grass stamp set, bring our black ink back in here, and I am going to, let me get my head over this so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to stamp this. Let's get that inked up good. Stamp this 3 times. 1, 2. And if you don't get this perfectly down at the bottom the same, like this one's a little bit lower, don't worry, because we are going to put some of that black baker's twine on here. Now I'm erasing that line that I made. We're going to flick it. Do a little flickety-do. I almost said something I shouldn't. Did you catch that? That's funny. Okay, and I'm going to still stick with that sometimes. Life is just hard. And I'm going to put that right over here. That looks great. And then we'll take some more of the baker's twine. I'm out of all my little pieces I had laying all over the place. So we'll grab some off of here. And I'm going to leave enough to tie a bow. And we're just going to wrap this right around kind of the bottom of our arches. And so if you don't get them perfect or you don't get the images perfect, you don't need to worry, because this is going to kind of cover up what may not be perfect, right? And if you want a perfect card, buy a Hallmark. We're making homemade cards and they're not usually perfect, right? That's how that goes. Okay. So let me get my bow tied here. There we go. I love this. And now I have to find some more brass butterflies. Let's see if I have any. Get them open. There we go. Ooh, can you guys hear the thunder? We have thunderstorms. We've been getting so much rain here in Wisconsin. I just want it to be summer, darn it. Like, not rain every day. It's almost like April with warm temperatures. And do one more little one right over here. Good grief, isn't that pretty? And then let's do our inside. Do this guy again. And just a little something over here. That looks great. And I think I'm going to use the So Very Sorry. Let me bring my black back in here. Just add that right up here. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? Okay, so we'll clear some of the stuff out. So we have the windows that we used. We have, where did the rest of my cards go? Right here. This is the window. These are the actual arches cut out. Oh, no, these are the windows. This is the actual arch cut out in various colors. So again, technique, single 1 card layers. And I just have so many ideas. Masking is kind of the way to go to make these be really cool. You can do a lot of different masks. You could cut out flowers. You could have masked butterflies and use blending brushes and then words and elements, but no layers, just single card fronts to stamp on and make pretty cards. Now, you guys, remember, this is a blog hop. So if you click up in, I'm trying to remember, one of these corners here, if it's that corner or that corner, it may be backwards on here. I'm using a new camera, but I think it's going to be that corner up there. That'll take you right to my blog where you are going to find little thumbnails to click on. Scroll down until you see little thumbnails, and that's going to take you to the next Totally Techniques designer that is also using the same technique of single layer cards. So I can't wait to see what everybody else made. And like I said, Diane used the same arches and the same stamp set, but she could have possibly done it very different than mine. I just saw one little picture. So I hope you'll go check those out. Please also remember, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you're in the United States, I would be thrilled to earn your business. I can send you a catalog. You are able to email me at kelly@AStampAbove.com and send me your address. I'd be happy to send you a catalog. I hope you enjoyed these cards. And again, that Prairie Grass stamp set is available starting July 1st as one of our brand new online exclusive products. There's going to be a bunch of online exclusive new products that come out on July 1st. So make sure you check that out again on my blog at www.AStampAbove.com. Let me see if I can show that to you. There you go. It's going across the bottom of the screen there. And I'm going to have a flyer with all of the new products in there. And of course, you can always find my online store link and go to the online store and shop with me. I always appreciate your orders. Thank you guys so much. Check out that blog hop. It's going to be fantastic. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.